What up, yo? It's Marc Shannon with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Friday, August 26th. You can follow the show or on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media at Fantasy Knockout. Please like and subscribe, whatever platform you are watching or listening on. It really helps out the show. I'm excited for today's show because we have tight end rankings. We're going to go over our top 10 tight ends to draft this year. Let's talk some news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the news.
News with views. All right, to start off, running back Gus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens. He was placed on the PUP list with his knee injury, which means he's going to miss the first 4 weeks. So look for Mike Davis to get a lot of workload. We don't know if J.K. Dobbins is going to be ready to start the year. So if you want a late round, if you wait on running backs this year, Mike Davis is a nice pickup at the end of your draft. Then wide receiver Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys. The owner, Jerry Jones, indicated Gallup's knee. He's going to avoid the PUP list, which is good news for them because it just means he's going to be back sooner than later. So you could stash him. You can't stash him on your IR list, but you can draft him at the end of your draft. Then running back Michael Carter of the New York Jets. ESPN's Rich Cimini writes that Carter is still the RB1 for the Jets. Not sure if I 100% believe this. I think it might mean that they're just going to split a little bit more carries than we had anticipated at first. So Breece Hall, maybe a little hesitation with drafting Breece Hall. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney of the New York Giants. His knee, he's not participating in team drills from last Wednesday, which is what to believe a hamstring injury. He has been battling a knee issue all summer. I still feel confident that he's going to emerge as the number one, but let's target Wan'Dale Robinson maybe at the end of your draft as well. And then wide receiver Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins. He missed most of the last 2 weeks of practice with an undisclosed injury. He has been seen with a wrap on his right leg last Wednesday, so nothing to panic about yet, but just a concern. Tight end Darren Waller of the Las Vegas Raiders. Waller has returned to practice last week, but has found himself back on the sidelines with a hamstring injury. His head coach McDaniel said he hasn't made the call if Waller's going to miss or start week 1. So kind of hesitant on Waller now. Running back Darrell Williams of the Arizona Cardinals. Reports say that multiple league sources have identified Williams as a potential surprise cut or trade going forward. So Eno Benjamin, he's looked to be the main handcuff there in Arizona. I'd snatch him up if I could at the end of my draft. And then wide receiver Denzel Mims of the New York Jets. He's requested a trade. Kind of bummer. I like this guy coming out of college a couple years back. We'll just see where he lands. Other than that, let's get into the rankings. Main event. So we're going to go over the top 10 tight end rankings to draft, or the draft guys that I like this year.
Number 1.
My number 1 guy is Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. So last year, Andrews was the early round tight end who drove rosters to fantasy championships. The Baltimore Ravens' 4th-year tight end led the position with a 25% target share, 28% air yard share, and 17.5 fantasy points per game. He ran a route on 84% of the offensive dropbacks, which also ranked first. And with Hollywood Marquise Brown traded to the Cardinals, Andrews solidified him as the clear tight end 1 with a still unproven second-year wideout as his main competition. So I like Andrews as my number 1 this year.
Number 2.
Travis Kelce of the Chiefs, he's my number 2 tight end. So after finishing the fantasy tight end 1 for 3 straight seasons, Kelce was finally dethroned by Andrews in 2021. It seems logical that Kelce's reign as a potential consensus tight end 1 has come to a conclusion as he enters his age 33 season this year. However, it's impossible to ignore the high-end target share that Kelce's going to command with the Chiefs offense after they traded Tyreek Hill away.
Number 3.
Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons comes in at my number 3. Pitts' ADP is lower than it was last year, so he's going to be a screaming value this year. At just 21 years old, Pitts finished 3rd among tight ends in receiving yards with a 1,018 through 17 weeks of the season, and 3rd in route participation with 80% through 18 weeks. The rookie fell short of lofty preseason expectations last year, though he only scored 1 touchdown any other pass catcher that compiled at least 1,000 receiving yards caught at least 4 touchdowns. He only had his 1. So with positive regression for year 2 in the touchdown, especially in his favor, I expect his touchdowns to go up. Therefore, I like Pitts a lot this year.
Number 4.
Darren Waller of the Las Vegas Raiders. He comes in at my number 4 tight end. The major concern with Waller this year is how much Davante Adams is going to eat into his targets. However, I'd focus more on valuing Waller based on how good the Raiders' offense as a whole is going to be, in addition with Adams, more opportunities in the end zone. I'll be willing to forego 1 or few targets a game with Waller. It means more scoring opportunities. The big body back tight end he's primed for positive touchdown regression after converting just 2 of his 10 end zone targets in touchdowns last year.
Number 5.
George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers. He comes in at my number 5 tight end. Even though Kittle didn't feel like a great investment as an early round selection last year, there's no denying his finish as the tight end 3 in both overall points and points per game with 15, despite playing just 13 games. The 49ers tight end finished as PFF's highest graded tight end at 91.2 and repeated as the leader in yards per route run at 2.35 among all tight ends for the 4th consecutive season. Feel confident in drafting George Kittle this year.
Number 6.
Dalton Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys. He's my number 6 tight end. Dallas placed the franchise tag on Schultz off the career season and released veteran Blake Jarwin. So Dallas's number 1 tight end wrapped up last year's season 6 in route participation at 77%, and 3rd in overall routes run with 586. The highly coveted role with the constraints of a high-powered offense ensures that Schultz will be the back end of fantasy tight end 1 conversation for the 3rd straight season. I love his upside as well.
Number 7.
TJ Hockenson of the Detroit Lions. He comes in at my number 7 tight end. So Hockenson's season was cut short by injuries as he left kind of a bitter taste in fantasy football managers' mouths last year. But the hate is unwarranted as Hockenson was well on his way to a career year with the Lions. Through 13 weeks, the Detroit Lions tight end ranked 6th in points per game, 5th in targets per game, 1st in route participation at 85%, 3rd in target share at 19%, and 3rd in air yard share. Averaging over 1 more fantasy point from the year prior, Hockenson fits the mold as a post-hype sleeper after he failed to truly break out last year.
Number 8.
Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. He comes in at my number 8 tight end. It took much longer than many fantasy managers would have liked, but Dallas Goedert finally broke out last year after being overshadowed by Zach Ertz since his rookie year. The Eagles tight end has finished as PFF's 2nd highest graded receiving tight end at 91.1 and as the tight end 10 overall, with the majority of his fantasy production coming from week 7 onward. In those 11 games played, including the postseason, Goddard averaged 11.8 fantasy points per game, which would have ranked him as a tight end 8 as a season-long perspective.
Number 9.
Zach Ertz of the Arizona Cardinals. He comes in at my number 9 tight end. So Ertz is he's the other big winner in the wake of DeAndre Hopkins' suspension. The former Eagles broke out in the Arizona offense last year with, the last 4 weeks with Hopkins sidelined. Ertz was tight end 4 over that stretch, averaging 7 receptions per game with a 24% target share. Feel confident in Ertz to start the year this year.
Number 10.
Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. He's my tight end 10. No tight end should make a bigger leap this year than the 3rd-year tight end in Kmet, whose upside has been capped by the lack of touchdowns, and with the veteran Jimmy Graham no longer being there and holding him back. Graham's currently a free agent, so Kmet is ready to smash this year. He checks all the boxes for a tight end breakout, and that's exactly why I have him ranked at 3 spots ahead of consensus, which is tight end 13. I got him at my number 10. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. I want to say the next show we got is my guys, the guys I want on my team, the guys I'm targeting. I want to say thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe, whatever platform you are on. Please leave a rating and review. It really helps us out. All right, till next time, see ya!